and welcome those that are visiting us live streaming again this morning. First up, declaration of pecuniary interest. Hearing none. Action items. A, council chambers rental request. Betty Ann.
Thank you, Mr. Warden. Thank you, Mr. Warden. So this request came specifically to us through the municipality of Brockton, but I think it begs for a bigger discussion. Not because this is the first of what could, if approved, become additional requests. So we wanted to be prepared to be able to respond to additional requests in the future. So that is why the recommendation is written as such, is that we've taken consideration of the specific request from Brockton and identifying that we don't have regular maintenance staff. This would be evenings, and we don't have a current rental charge, as we don't rent outside of county staff using the facilities, with the exception of the Bruce County Federation of Agriculture, and that was a decision of previous councils to allow that, as there was some staff involvement at the time when that was arranged, to have a greater presence with our agricultural partners. And we're just suggesting that if we were to approve rental of the administration center's meeting space to outside organizations, then it would likely be wise to have county staff on site, and that certainly any other costs, a coffee station, etc., that those costs would be recognized by the outside staff. Now, in this particular case, we've been advised that Brockton, of course, they would be bringing in their own laptops, but they would access the guest Wi-Fi and certainly our projector and the PA system that we have in the council chambers here. So we're just at this point seeking committee's direction regarding the rental of our meeting space to outside organizations, and if there is an appetite for that, a desire, then we would take that back and do a cost analysis and provide that feedback.
Thanks, Betty Ann. Comments? Paul?
Brockton Council is one thing, and I certainly support exploring to see if we can make something work that both parties would be okay with. But I hope the report is, I think it needs to be kept more to municipal-based outside groups. Like, I got nothing against the Girl Guides or the Brownies and stuff, but I don't think they need to be starting to come in here Monday evenings.
And that's the feedback that we were seeking, is if there is any other outside. And I think we also, even if it is just maintained as municipal, certainly Brockton because of their geographic location in Walkerton, but it may be of interest to other municipalities who are within reasonable driving distance, that they may want to consider that as well.
Other comments? Anne?
No, I think it makes sense. Cooperation and the proximity is a big factor here. And I've been in your offices, and I know you need a bit more room. And I think it's worth exploring.
So I got a question to David. What was the reasoning, David?
Well, it boiled down to space. We really don't have the space. We don't have a meeting room besides the council chamber. The council chamber is small if we have large delegations coming in. So it did boil down to that, and if there was a move, then we would be able to expand some office space into our present council chambers. So I agree though that we need to make sure that it's going to work here. If we do come here, outside access to people coming in the evening has to all be considered.
Other comments? Anne?
So just on your security system here, like out there, like you have this, that everything else can be locked off easily for security? I just was curious.
Through you, Mr. Chair. Currently, there are open areas within the building that they can have access to. They can access the basement. So that is why our recommendation would be that that there would be staff, county staff on site, basically acting as security at the front entrance. And if there were any issues, the alarm does set later in the evening. So if the meeting were to go past 11, we would want to be able to reset that and be able to set it when the meeting was over. So
I wouldn't let that happen.
Other comments? Robert?
I actually think it's a very good idea, and but there has to be security. We can't have people wandering around, and then we have to also watch that, you know, Bruce County Federation of Agriculture and those other organizations, I guess we just have to do it on a one-by-one basis if they want to use it, but I wouldn't want this to be kind of like open to all different organizations. I think it better be kept like right within one, like say Brockton, and maybe that's all.
I am struggling with the request, to be honest with you. Because as individual municipalities, if we need more space, we have to go and build more room. And just to open it up to one municipality, I guess because Brockton's located here, I can understand the ask, but I'm just struggling with it, but I will keep an open mind till I see the report. Milt?
Yeah, of course, it's of no value to us at all, or most of us, not only us, but most of us. But I just have a hard time saying no because the building is here, so why not use it? And they help pay for it. We did too, but we, as you say, we just don't have that option.
Yeah, because we're out of space here in Kinloss too, so. Anyways, look forward to the report. Robert?
There will be a fee, of course, won't there? Like they'll have to pay all expense. So it'll be more revenue. Yeah, so we could bring in a tremendous amount of revenue here, maybe.
Okay, so you were asking for some feedback, and a recommendation is to bring back a report outlining the cost analysis to establish a reasonable fee to cover the cost to provide staffing and related services after regular hours. And are we giving direction here that at this time it's only open to municipalities? Because I did hear that a couple times that, okay?
Bruce County municipalities.
Bruce County municipalities. Okay, do I have a mover and seconder for that recommendation? Ann and Robert, any further discussions? All those in favor? Opposed, if any, that's carried. Thank you. Information items, Municipal Property Assessment Corp.
Yes, there are a number of information items, and just very quickly, the first one is the Municipal Property Assessment Corporation, and you learned at last meeting that we would that they were increasing by 2.65%, but it's based on the levy formula, and for the County of Bruce, it is actually a we had budgeted for a larger increase, so in 2017 it will be a surplus of $4,747, and that'll just be included in the year-end results. The other information item is our 2017 insurance program, and we, of course, as you're aware, we have the ability to renew that for 3 one-year renewal extensions, and this recommendation, or this information, is to advise you that that has been successfully completed. The 4.81% is not based specifically on cost of living, but rather it incorporates any changes that we've had in our program during 2017 2016, and that would include the insurance on our Peninsula Hub at 268 Burford Street, the leased vehicle that we acquired for the corporation for this use by staff, and any other changes in our property and policy, and the cost of living applied to the property, the blanket property insurance coverage. So the 4.81%, I believe, is very within reasonable expectations, and the full amount was $610,551, and the budget for 2017 did include a 5% increase, so it has been accommodated within our 2017 budget. And then we would look forward to consider for 2018 during the next months to review considering a request for proposal for our 2018 services.
Thank you, Betty Ann. Milt?
Betty Ann, could you just review this back in property assessment? Is the business property tax capping and just where we are and how it's changing?
Sure. And a little bit with some gremlins happening on this report as well. So the report itself did not have any attachments, but this document here that was included is actually for a future agenda, and I should have highlighted that. That's regarding some options that that can be considered. This came out after we had presented the report. Related to any changes in capping, the opportunities that we have. We take advantage of all of the options that we have to be able to bring current value assessment closer, and that is certainly supported by all of your treasurers as well. The only item that we have been discussing is excuse me, the vacant rebate and reduction program, and I'll be bringing back a recommendation for you at the March meeting in relation to that.
More information coming.
Yes.
I thought I heard Mayor Tory, they were rebating commercial owners to the tune of about $350 million a year to have their storefronts all over the city just stay vacant. They're actually getting rebates as their values of their property going up. So they're going to end that program in Toronto to recoup $350 million or something. No.
Yeah, ours is the same. Yeah. In other, we are the exception. Yes. So we will be bringing something back. So as I said, the gremlins got that. So apologize for that. The next report is regarding the financial indicator review report that the Ministry of Municipal Affairs provides for us.
Mike?
Just before, I want to go back to the insurance program, Betty Ann, tonight. So it's an issue we were discussing at the health board, and it's a real issue in we hear about cybersecurity, and I wonder, we have insurance against that, I'm sure, in here, and I just wonder, have we ever assessed that to really look at, to say what are our
risks,
exposures and risks? Because daily, well, I mean, if you listen to the news daily, the election was stolen because of cybersecurity, and I just wonder, and I'm sure you're aware of it, but I wonder if we've ever looked at that and say maybe we should have are we covered enough? That's, I guess, all I'm at.
We do have a minimal coverage, but there is certainly, it can be expanded, and we can evaluate that and bring back that. They do offer additional options in not only that, but in other areas where we can have additional changes, so we can bring that back.
The difficulty I always struggle with is I don't really understand enough to be able to make to say yes or no to it. I think our IT department would probably have a good better understanding of our exposure than I would, and I trust they've done anything. But it would be nice to be assured that we are covered.
We'll bring that back. Thank you.
We did have a mover and seconder for that, did we not, Darlene? For the insurance?
The insurance is just information.
Information, okay. Sorry.
The next information is the financial indicator review report from the Ministry of Municipal Affairs. And as I indicated into the report, with the exception of the one item, we are our levels of challenge is rated low, and the moderate challenges in respect to the new indicator, which is the asset consumption ratio. And I think that while it is considered moderate, it is this is based on how we consume for our assets. So it talks about how we measure the age of our municipality's physical assets. And where we sit on that, Bruce County in 2015 is at 41, still again lower than other median and average across the province. But this is in relation to our assets, and where we sit is considered that we have moderately new infrastructure. If we were to increase over 50%, it would suggest that we have moderately old infrastructure. And I think we've recognized that in the past with this facility, our long-term care, museum and cultural center, library headquarters, and now with the introduction of our Peninsula Hub, we're certainly within with those types of infrastructure. It's when we get into our roads and bridges, etc., and particularly our housing stock that changes that and drives that up slightly. So certainly within in range of being acceptable.
Paul?
Betty Ann got rid of the old jail. I bet you that would change very favorable too.
Other comments? Thank you.
And the final information report is in regards to the 2017 property assessment, also as required, providing you with the notional tax rate and then presenting you with the draft bylaw for our 2017 tax rates based on the 2017 assessment. What I wanted to draw to your attention, and again we apologize that this information was attached to the other report. So I think as you've been able to review it, you can see where the increases are in our total taxes, for assessment purposes, 2.68%, which includes the growth and also the phase-in for the first year. But you can see, and in this document it becomes a very large document, but I have what I like to do is analyze how much that farmland changes from year to year. And we know that certainly when we look at the farmland total, it increased by almost 21%, and we can see that the residential actually reduced, and then the changes throughout the industrial, and good to see an increase of almost 9%, and then of course the managed forest feeling the same impacts as the total farm. But when we look at it, our residential still maintains the bulk of what our $12 billion assessment. It's still 9.5, and our farmland is a smaller percentage. So overall, our total assessment for residential purposes dropped from 76 to 76.7 to 74, and then our total farm, and that's not shown on that document that you have, but our total farm then increased from just under 16 to 18 and a half. So you can see where those shifts are. And the total of farmland assessment overall was 16% in 2016, farmland and managed forest. So when you see that the 1 billion out of the 12 billion, it accounted for just under 16%, and now in 2017 it's just under 19%. So the 3% jump in farmland overall, and then you can see that by individual municipalities. So that was the analysis for assessment by municipalities, and that has been shared with each of your lower tier treasurers. The notional tax rate that I, as treasurer, required to provide you with that data. So the notional tax rate suggests that if you were to have the same levy requirement in 2017 as in 2016, what would be the tax rate based on the new assessment? So the increase and the notional. So the 2016 tax rate was 0.00374, and the notional tax rate, if we were to raise the same levy for the levy purpose and using the new assessment, it would actually decrease to 0.00374. And although I know that an average assessment is no longer 100,000, it does provide a good benchmark to be able to recognize what it really means in dollars and what it means to the taxpayer. So in 2016, paying $374.63, and now in 2017, if we had raised the same amount, it would be $374.18. Now we know that our tax rate, our levy did increase, so this next table shows you that in 2016, it would have been the 0.00374, or for 100,000 assessment, it would have been $374.62, and now in 2017, it's $387. Excuse me, and 74 cents, or on every $100,000 assessment, residential, the residential assessment would be $13.11. And then if you look at farmlands who have the 25% tax ratio applied, the increase was on every $100,000 assessment, there would be an increase of $3.28 for county purposes. So while the increase is significant when you see the change in the assessment, when you drill down and apply the tax rate per dollar, it in comparison from a residential property or your commercial and industrial properties compared to the farmland and managed forest. And that's why I always like to use that $100,000 comparison. And you know, if you're assessed at $300,000 or $400,000, you can fairly simply do the math. And then the final is just the bylaw itself, just summarizing what our tax ratios are and the tax rates approved, and then the tax rate applied by your individual assessments, what that total amount to raise the $43,421,000 for 2017, how it is applied.
Very interesting report. Comments, questions? Hopefully this really alleviates our agricultural community. Just that gives you a really good snapshot of what the actual dollars are. It doesn't, Milt? Any other comments or questions? Ann?
So on the bylaw 2017, I'm number 4, the general county tax rate for 2016 to be applied to assessment in each municipality.
Sorry, that needs to be, this was our draft, and we'll update that. It should say 2017.
Okay.
Thank you.
So I just wondered if it was staying totally the same. And
I believe it's correct in the one that we have prepared for March, but this was the draft we did.
No, that's okay. I just wanted to make sure I was reading the right thing. Okay.
Okay, any other comments? That's it. Motion to adjourn. Ann? Milt? All those in favor? Opposed, nay, that's carried. Thank you, Betty Ann.
Thank you.